Imagine a planet where survival isn't just hard, it's nearly impossible. A place so dangerous that even NASA's most advanced technology has failed to withstand it. Yes, we're talking about Mars. While scientists dream of building human colonies there, one terrifying phenomenon could turn that dream into a nightmare. And this is the very thing that even NASA fears. Before we dive into Mars's deadliest problem, let's first understand why humanity is so desperate to settle on this distant red planet. When we talk about Mars, most people imagine a quiet, lifeless desert world. A lonely red planet with nothing but sand, rocks, and silence stretching endlessly across the horizon. But what if I told you that beneath that silence, Mars hides a danger so great that it has already claimed the life of one of NASA's most successful machines? A danger that, unless solved, could destroy humanity's dream of turning Mars into a second home. But before we dive into this terrifying reality, we need to understand why humans are even willing to risk everything for Mars in the first place. Why Mars matters for humanity's future. Here on Earth, life is becoming increasingly fragile. Our natural resources, fresh water, fertile soil, clean air, are slowly depleting. Glaciers are melting at alarming rates, rivers are shrinking, and regions near the equator are becoming unbearably hot. Climate scientists warn that by the year 2100, even if we manage to control greenhouse gas emissions, most of Earth's glaciers will have already melted. Fresh water, the foundation of life, will become one of the rarest resources on the planet. And if that wasn't enough, other existential threats hang over us like a sword. A devastating pandemic, a catastrophic nuclear war, or a massive asteroid impact could wipe out human civilization in the blink of an eye, just like the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. We could be next. This is why scientists and visionaries have been looking for a backup planet, a second home for humanity, where our species could survive even if Earth one day becomes uninhabitable. And after decades of research, one candidate stands out: Mars. Why Mars is humanity's best hope now, you might wonder. Why Mars? Why not Venus or some of Jupiter's moons? The reason is simple. Mars, despite its challenges, is the most Earth-like planet in our solar system. For starters, a Martian day, called a sol, is almost the same as ours. One sol lasts 24 hours and 39 minutes, just 36 minutes longer than an Earth day. That means our bodies, which are used to Earth's day-night rhythm, could adapt much more easily compared to other planets. Mars also has seasons like Earth, spring, summer, fall, and winter, caused by the tilt of its axis. Although, because a Martian year is almost twice as long as an Earth year, these seasons last much longer. Scientists have also found evidence of ancient rivers, lakes, and even glaciers on Mars. Today, frozen water still exists beneath its surface and at its polar ice caps. And when we talk about landscapes, Mars doesn't disappoint. It has mountains, valleys, deserts, and volcanoes, just like Earth. In fact, the tallest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, is located on Mars. It's about 3 times taller than Mount Everest. Mars also has gravity, about 38% of Earth's, which means humans could walk on its surface without floating away. And while its atmosphere is thin, it does exist, which provides at least some protection against space radiation. All these similarities make Mars humanity's best candidate for colonization. It's not perfect, but compared to the other worlds out there, it's the closest thing we've got to a second Earth. The harsh realities of surviving on Mars. But here's the catch. Mars may look somewhat like Earth, but living there is an entirely different story. Let's start with water. Yes, there is frozen water on Mars, but it's not in rivers or lakes we can simply drink from. It's trapped beneath the soil and polar ice caps. Extracting it would require drilling, heating, and advanced filtration technology. Then comes the atmosphere. On Earth, oxygen makes up about 20% of the air we breathe. On Mars, only 0.13%. The rest, 99.87%, is carbon dioxide, which is toxic for humans. That means we'll need to create oxygen artificially. NASA is already testing a device called MOXIE, the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. It's designed to take in carbon dioxide from Mars' atmosphere, compress it, heat it, and separate out oxygen. A groundbreaking idea, but it will take years of scaling up before it could support an entire human colony. Next, let's talk about temperature. Mars is freezing. The average daytime temperature hovers around 6 degrees, 1021 degrees, but at night, it can drop to 100 degrees, 148 degrees. Without heavily insulated suits and heated shelters, survival would be impossible. And then there's radiation. Earth has a magnetic field that shields us from harmful solar radiation. Mars doesn't. That means anyone living on the surface would be constantly bombarded by radiation from the sun, increasing the risk of cancer and other deadly diseases. To survive, humans would need radiation-proof habitats, possibly underground bunkers or thick protective domes. Finally, food. You can't grow crops in Martian soil. Instead, scientists propose controlled environment agriculture, sealed greenhouses where air, water, and light are completely artificial. NASA has already experimented with this in Antarctica and on the International Space Station, proving that it's possible to grow food under extreme conditions. So, yes, every major challenge on Mars, from oxygen to water, radiation to farming, has at least a potential solution. Difficult, but not impossible. But there's one problem left. A problem so massive that it makes all the other solutions seem fragile. And this problem is something even NASA hasn't figured out yet. The deadly dust storms of Mars. At first glance, Mars looks calm. Its barren deserts stretch endlessly, and the thin winds whisper softly across its surface. But appearances can be deceiving. Out of nowhere, massive walls of dust can rise on the horizon. They stretch for miles, towering higher than mountains, swallowing valleys, craters, and even entire regions in their path. These are Mars' infamous dust storms, and they are unlike anything on Earth. On our planet, storms are local. They might devastate a city, or at worst, sweep across a continent. But on Mars, dust storms don't stop there. They can engulf the entire planet. These planet-wide storms can last for months. They block sunlight so completely that Mars's surface is plunged into darkness. And without sunlight, solar panels, the primary energy source for rovers, satellites, and future human colonies, become useless. Imagine living on Mars and suddenly losing power, heat, and life support. For weeks or even months. That's not science fiction. It's exactly what happened to NASA's Opportunity rover. The tragic end of Opportunity. In January 2004, NASA's Opportunity rover landed on Mars. Its mission was supposed to last just 90 days, but against all odds, Opportunity kept going. Not for months, but for 15 years. It became one of NASA's most successful missions, sending back stunning images and invaluable data. Then, in 2018, a massive dust storm struck. Within days, sunlight reaching Opportunity's solar panels dropped by 96%. Its batteries could no longer charge. The rover entered sleep mode, waiting for the storm to pass. NASA tried for months to re-establish contact. Engineers sent command after command, hoping for a response. But there was only silence. The dust storm had lasted too long. Opportunity's batteries had drained completely. The last message ever received from the rover was chilling. "My battery is low, and it's getting dark." That was the end of Opportunity. A machine that had survived 15 years on Mars was finally silenced, not by freezing temperatures, radiation, or mechanical failure, but by the planet's deadly dust storms. Why these storms are so dangerous. But what makes these storms so terrifying? The winds themselves aren't the problem. In fact, even though Martian winds can reach speeds of 100 miles per hour, the thin atmosphere makes them far weaker than Earth's storms. On Earth, those winds could tear down houses. On Mars, they wouldn't even knock over a person. The real danger lies in the dust. Mars' thin atmosphere allows dust particles to stay suspended for months. Once a storm begins, It can take weeks or even months for the dust to settle back on the ground. This creates a thick, planet-wide haze that blocks sunlight. And without sunlight, solar power fails. And here's the problem. Almost every solution scientists have for sustaining human colonies on Mars depends on solar energy. Solar power would run oxygen generators, water extraction systems, and heating units. If that power is cut off for months, life support systems will fail. In other words, these storms could plunge an entire Martian colony into darkness, shutting down the very systems designed to keep humans alive. The mystery behind the storms. So what causes these monstrous storms? Scientists believe it's linked to Mars's thin atmosphere and extreme temperature differences. During the day, the ground heats up quickly, but because the atmosphere is so thin, it can't trap or distribute that heat. So while your feet might feel warm, the air around your head could still be freezing cold. This drastic temperature difference creates powerful winds. And when these winds pick up fine dust, the storm begins. On Earth, storms bring clouds and rain. On Mars, they bring dust. And because gravity on Mars is weaker than Earth's, the dust takes much longer to settle. That's why these storms can last for months and spread across the entire planet. Every 3 to 4 years, Mars experiences one of these planet-wide storms. And while scientists are starting to understand how they form, we still don't know how to predict them, let alone stop them. The final obstacle to colonization. This is why dust storms remain Mars' greatest unsolved mystery. Oxygen, water, radiation farming, all have potential solutions. But if a Martian colony is plunged into darkness for months, cut off from energy, how will humans survive? Until we can answer that question, Mars will remain a dream, a beautiful, dangerous dream. Because the truth is, Mars may look silent and calm from millions of miles away, but up close it has a violent side. A side strong enough to silence opportunity, a side strong enough to make even NASA afraid. So, after everything we've uncovered, Mars seems like a paradox. On one hand, it is the most promising candidate for humanity's future, our potential second home, just waiting for us to set foot and build the first colony. But on the other hand, it hides dangers that could easily wipe away every dream we've built. Think about it. We already know how to produce oxygen from carbon dioxide. We have methods to extract frozen water from beneath the surface. Scientists have designed radiation-proof shelters and even tested farming in sealed greenhouses. Piece by piece, humanity has been solving the puzzle of survival on Mars. And yet, one missing piece, the planet-wide dust storms, still stands in our way. These storms don't care about our technology, our billion-dollar spacecraft, or our future colonies. When they rise, they swallow everything. They block sunlight for weeks, sometimes months. They shut down power. They suffocate rovers. And one day, they could threaten human lives. We've seen it happen already. Opportunity, one of NASA's proudest missions, sent us 15 years of discoveries, photos, and hope. But when the storm came, Opportunity's solar panels went dark, and its last haunting message reminded us of the truth. Mars is not a forgiving world. That's why the question remains, can we truly overcome Mars's storms? Can we build technology strong enough to outlast months of darkness? Can nuclear power or advanced reactors replace solar panels as a more reliable energy source? Or will we need to rethink colonization altogether, living underground, using caves as shelters, and waiting for the planet to calm down before stepping outside? No one knows the full answer yet, and maybe that's what makes Mars so fascinating. It's not just a world of rocks and dust, it's a challenge, a test for humanity, a place that asks, are you ready to leave Earth behind? Are you ready to fight for survival in a world that doesn't want you there? Because the truth is, Mars won't welcome us. We'll have to earn our place there. Every breath of oxygen, every drop of water, every meal of food will be the result of human ingenuity. And if we can survive on Mars, it will prove that we are capable of surviving anywhere in the universe. So, what do you think? Will we one day conquer Mars and build cities under its red skies? Or will its storms always remain too powerful, keeping humanity forever earthbound? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if this deep dive into Mars's greatest danger fascinated you, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more incredible space stories, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next journey into the unknown. After all, space is full of mysteries, and Mars is only the beginning. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep looking up.